Hello traders, and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 23. As always, we're going to have a look at how the market behaved this week, what did we have, and what do we expect for the next one. So we had a very busy week with a lot of fundamentals going on and a lot of moves, so I really avoided to trade this week, and as I was a little bit busy, I haven't taken any trades. But let's have a look at the market and decide what do we wait for the next week. If you still haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button right now to support it, and make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you eventually like this video and find something helpful. Right now, let's head into the analysis. Alright, so as always guys, starting from the DXY, a very important index that we have to analyze before starting to analyze the whole market, because this gives us the whole direction of the USD. So we analyzed the previous week that price action was trending up in a very nice uptrend, then we broke the trend line, retested it immediately and made a new massive lower low. So I did expect this pullback, which happened, and price action nicely held around this 98 key level. So this was the key level. Price found massive resistance on the 30th of October and then flushed to the downside, and currently is trying to create a lower low, kind of making it right now, but it looks very overextended. So on the daily time frame, currently a very overextended market, and I would really love to see some sort of a pullback. So looking at the 4-hourly, you see here how structure changed, bullish trend, double top formation, break, retest, and nice tap here, liquidity hunt at the top, and a massive push to the downside. So the levels I will be working with is this one, as I saw this week, nicely piercing through this area and finding massive rejection. So this will be the area I will be looking for a pullback potentially, or anywhere in between this zone, but I will not permit price action to break above this level, because this is the lower high formation currently, and if price action breaks above, this would mean that the trend is being invalidated. So I'm short bias on the DXY, just waiting for some sort of a pullback to for a lower high and then a continuation down. Let's see if Euro USD supports our bias. If we are bearish on the dollar, we should be bullish on Euro USD, and as you can see, this massive bearish trend line was violated. Immediate retest, absolutely the same as the DXY, just in the opposite direction. So we had a very interesting area here of this market. You can see, you can see that this zone held to perfection. So price broke it, this major lower high. This was an area where we took shorts a couple of volumes before. So price pushed to the downside, broke the area without a retest of this level, came back to perfectly retest it, left us with 3 days of price action, and even on the 4th day we had a nice wick here to the downside and currently continuing up. So what I can observe from the daily is that price action is currently testing this high and it's finding some difficulties. So if we switch to the hourly time frame, you can see that currently we are forming some sort of a double top. So if we mark the whole area, this will be the major kind of level and an area I will be looking for. So you can see that price action pulled back with a massive bearish candle. This was on NFP, and then immediately got strength again. So which are the levels I will be working? So I see that this little zone here is a very strong area, because you can see here price found massive liquidity and tested it once and twice, then pushed to the upside, tried to test it, then tested it again and pushed to the upside. And if you want to have even a smaller zone, I would include this little wick here and possibly this kind of area. So you can see that this level is a potential higher low of this trend, of this bullish move, as we had the break of the trend line, double bottom, push to the upside, retest of the zone, and continuation up. So currently price is testing this area but still failing to continue to break above. So if we have a nice pullback here for double bottom and then a break of this area, so the most important thing I will be looking for is a break of this very strong supply area, and then if we have a retest, this will be my long opportunity. But if I see a nice pullback just for a higher low potentially, or double bottom here at this zone, I will make sure to enter a a lower risk buy position, but my biggest one will be if we have a break and retest of this area. So let's see if this happens for next week, and I will keep you updated about it. Interesting price action on EJ, because you can see from the daily time frame this was a very nice bullish push here, break of the structure, and currently price action is ranging. You can clearly see the range on the daily time frame, and we can even draw a box like this. So you can see on Thursday we had a massive bearish engulf, engulfing the last kind of 3 days, but still price action failed to continue pushing down, which means that there is a very strong support here at 120.40, this kind of area. So what I can see from this market is that this is a clear consolidation. So usually how I behave in consolidations, I just leave the pair alone, and I will be waiting for a strong break below and then a retest of this structure or to the upside. But just looking at structure currently, we saw that we had an ABC here to the upside, broken trend line, broken higher low, and currently price action is pulling back for some sort of a lower high. So if you want to have a setup on this one, we might draw a fib. So you can see it's perfectly respecting the 50%. So if I am to enter any trades, I will start monitoring how price is reacting at this newly created resistance, because you can see the last 4-hour candle closed as rejection, just a little indecisive candle. So personally, I will be waiting for a break and retest of the consolidation, but I am more short bias than buy bias on EJ for the moment. Aussie USD, very interesting week for this pair. So as we analyzed some volumes before, you can see that price action struggled a lot to break this 0.67 key level, started pushing to the upside. Then we had a very nice retracement here, beautiful, with 1, 2, 3 morning star formation, and price action continued to push to create a new higher high. So this is the perfect healthy trend, which I always look for. A nice healthy trend with nice legs to the upside. So if we draw a quick fib here on the daily, and you can see that we have a little zone in here. So if we drop down to the 4-hourly, we can see that this was already retested, but this is becoming too messy. So usually I wait for 50%, 61.8 as well. So there is still some downwards kind of space for price action to go. Major levels this high here, that has to be broken if we're going to remain bullish on this pair. And I can see a little higher low formation here. So price action pushed to the upside, created a higher low, but failed to create a higher high. So which means that currently price action is consolidating, and you can see we had 1, 2, 3 formation, a very nice bearish sign, but then a bullish engulf. So currently at this area, price action is kind of struggling to break one of those areas. So personally, sorry, I will be waiting for price to pull back to this area to give me some more rejections. Then I will be watching for long opportunities, or I will be waiting for very simple break and retest of this area, and then a break and retest of this zone. So still we have some space to the downside. As we saw, here was the 50 and 61.8%. Let me plot it again. Yep, you can see where price action struggled a little bit. So this still is a structure, and I will still be looking for longs on this pair if we don't break the 61.8%. So if price action breaks this level but starts to find support here, I will still be looking for buys. The only time I will start looking for sales is if price action breaks this structure here, the one we indicated, tries to continue up, finds support from this area and tries to continue up, fails to continue, finds resistance here, creates a lower high, and then we will be getting a short bias on this pair. But for now, looking bullish on Aussie USD. Similar price action on AJ as well. You can see that price is trending up currently, higher high, higher low, higher high, and currently trying to create a new higher low. So if we mark this little area, which will be a nice supportive region on the 4-hourly. So you can see that we had a massive flush to the downside. So this was because of the Japanese yen strength. We will see USD JPY plummeting from the sky. So How I will be looking for this pair is similar to EJ. So all of the Japanese pairs are behaving in the same way right now. We had a broken trend line, massive push, break of structure, and currently looking like it's creating a lower high. So I'm more sell bias than buy bias, although as we saw on EU and AU, we are still bullish, which means those should continue pushing up. So from the daily time frame, I saw that this was the major higher low. Yep, you can see. So price action can pull back all the way here at 74.0, which is a massive level in this market. So let's see how price action pulls back to this area. If we start finding support, this will be perfect because we will have a double bottom formation. To buy this market would take profits this high. But if the market decides to break this area and come back lower or break and retest, I may potentially enter a scalp trade to ride this pair down, or I will just be waiting for price to tell me if it's going to reverse or not. So you see the market, when we're analyzing, we have a lot of scenarios. So you should have an open mind to everything that can happen, because everything can happen in the market. If you say to yourself, oh, okay, if price action comes here, I will buy, and price action comes, and without any price action signal, you buy, and then price action decides to flush to the downside and stop you out, and then you say, but why? I was wrong. Well, because everything can happen. So make sure to make sure to know this, and that was a little tip from me. NZUSD, we can see that this price action is sitting at a very strong supply area. So this is a very strong daily level, 64,500s, and you can see how the last day pierced through the whole zone and rejected massively. So I do expect some pullback on this pair. Just by looking at the daily, it is currently creating some sort of a hard high, but it is failing. So my major daily zone will be here. You can see this is a massive zone in this market. You can see how many interactions we had on the left. So if I just plot it like that and switch down to the 4-hourly, what I can see is some massive manipulation around this area. So currently we are still remaining buy bias, but I would like to see a nice pullback of this pair. So I will delete this, and I will know that we are currently sitting at 64,500s. Just a little line to remind you, you can write down massive daily level or major daily level. And what I will be monitoring is this zone, because I will consider this as some sort of higher low formation. And if this gets broken, I will start to reverse my bias. But as long as price action is staying above this little area here, I will remain buy bias. So let's see what happens. Looking at the daily time frame on NJ, I can see that this pair is in consolidation. Just by looking at the last 3 days of price action, we have some sort of a range here. So if I just draw this quick box and switch down to the 4-hourly, you can clearly see the range. So I will just ignore this pair for a while. Why? Because the structure is not clear to me. So we have a strong resistance level and we have a strong support. And the range is not that clear, it's not that big to be taking shorts at the resistance and buys at the bottom. So I really want to see a break and retest of this resistance, or a break and retest of the lower support. So very simple analysis, guys. Let's wait for NJ to show us what it's going to do. I can see a very interesting setup on USD/JPY just by looking at the daily time frame. So you see price action fails to break above this zone here, 109, massive level in this market. We have 3 spikes to the top here and a massive wick, which was a very nice liquidity grab. And I can see that price broke below this structure. So on the daily time frame, this is very, very bearish. And I'm sure we are having a Fibonacci play here. So I will just drop this Fib here quickly and drop down to the hourly to see what's going on. So you see massive flush to the downside. This is why all the JPY pairs flush to the downside. And currently, just by looking at UJ, I would take shorts on all the Japanese yen pairs, because UJ usually drives the Japanese yen pair. So what I want to see from this market, this wick is not, I will draw my Fib like this. So searching for a level. So this is an immediate retest of this zone. the 38.2. So this can start respecting and finding resistance, but I really want to see this price action come around this area here, 108,500. So this is my desired level because here we had a massive area of support. You can see the double bottom push to the upside, break, and I really think that price can come up here to retest. However, I will be monitoring how price action reacts at this area here because it's currently finding massive rejections. And if I get some more confirmation here, some more hourly price action in the things I usually look for, I may take a short and target down a massive swing trade, because you can see on the daily we are currently in some sort of a trend line. So currently price is sitting at this trend line, and if we manage to break this, then we have a massive downside potential. So make sure to be aware of this trend line as well. And but yeah, looking at the 4-hour structure, price is shifting right now, so I am short bias on UJ. USD Swiss franc daily time frame. So I can see this market as a bearish market. You can see that we had a perfect lower high formation here, and price action is currently pushing and trying to create a lower low. So we have a major level here, 0.98 Make sure to have it on your charts because this level is massive. You can see a lot of reaction, and it's not just a level, it's a zone. So make sure to draw a little rectangle here. So price action is currently trying to tap this area, and we had this huge manipulation here, massive bullish candle, boom, immediately switching the direction. It's like a U-turn. So what I want from this market is for it to pull back in and around this zone or higher, or just a nice pullback for me to get into a short, because price action just pushed to the downside, created a lower low. This is not a pullback, this is just some manipulation. I really want to see price give me a nice healthy pullback, something like this. I want to see nice structure form, not like this, boom boom. This is not a nice structure, so let's wait for more, and I would like to see price action pull back in and around this area here. On UCAD, we got the perfect pullback we expected from the previous volume. So you can see that price pulled back and left us 3 days of price action, showing us that the price is failing to break above this level. So this is around 1.33 where the wicks were thrown. So switching down to the 4-hourly time frame, you can see the level where price action is holding, and currently we are pushing to the downside, creating a lower low. So I really want to see this price action push a little bit further and then give me a retest around this kind of area here. It's not very clear, but this is our major area, so I really want to see some clear price action forming. As I said on the last pair, I want to see this structure forming here, a lower high formation, and the signals I am waiting for. So overall, bearish bias on UCAD. I just want to see some more clear price action. Having a look at the GBP pairs, I currently don't trade them just because I want to minimize my risk and I don't want to be involved with everything that is happening with the Brexit stuff. So having a look at this market, it looks very bullish, but currently I see very corrective price action here and failure to continue and break this area. So this is 1.30, guys. Massive level in this market. You see how price immediately responded to it. So we're having a very strong supply area here. Make sure to have it on your charts. Here, what we can see is price action tapped here and came back up for a kind of a double tap. So scrolling here to see how price action is reacting. Well, I could say I am a little bit bearish bias on this one just by looking at how the wicks here are reacting from this area. However, I would like to see price push to the downside, really show me that there are bears here, because currently we're having all of those wicks and price action is staying here. So I would like to see a break of this structure, then a retest, then all my criteria for entries to be met, to see the rejection, to see that there are sellers here selling at this level, and then I may start looking for sales, targeting the lows here because this is a major level here as well, 1.28. So we're having around 130 pips to play with. So make sure to wait with the GBP pairs to see if there are more sellers or buyers. And having a look at Euro GBP, this pair is just awful. So we're having a ranging market here, very unclear price action. And when you see this happening, just ignore, guys, because you can see only this. that was a nice drawing. So eliminate Euro GBP. GU looks better, but Euro GBP is just a mess. So let's see how this market reacts. I had my major areas. It is even difficult to draw areas because we have massive wicks on both sides. So let's wait for more clear price action on this one. Gold daily time frame, it has been a very difficult commodity for me to trade because you can see from the daily time frame it is really compressing here and price action is very indecisive. So we can see that this is a little triangular formation here, but looking at structure we can see that price action is currently tapping into this very strong supply area. So looking at the daily time frame, we're having massive bullish candle here. Bears tried to enter but failed. So this is a lot of bullish pressure here on gold. And having a look at the 4 hourly, we can see that there is a massive level here of resistance. So just by looking at the 4 hourly, this looks like a double top formation, but really nothing to tell us that there are sellers. So if I want to sell, I will wait for price action to break this area to show me that there are sellers, and then a retest. And for buys, probably I would wait for price to break above this zone because this is a very strong area, and if really bulls are going to push the market up, I really want to see them taking action because currently if you really have a look at on gold, price action is consolidating. You see here on the bottom we have a lot of support and on the top we have a lot of resistance. So trying to look more in depth into the market, I would want to see a break of this little structure here, a retest for short back to the very strong demand area. That's on gold. I'm very conservative with it, and let's see what happens for the next week. Having a look at NAS100, a pair or whatever it is I've been trading recently. So we had an amazing setup here on the 4-hour time frame, and currently what is very interesting about this pair is that it is making all-time highs. You can see that price hasn't been here never, so it's very interesting to see new levels being formed. We do not have any resistance levels here on the left, so we really don't know what's going to happen with this one. But we had an interesting setup here. So you saw that price action broke above this area here, massively pushed to the downside, pulled back here, not quite to the level, but this was a nice Fibonacci actually. Something like this, perfect 50% here, left us nice rejections, pushed to the upside, then came back for a higher low and pushed to the upside again. So how am I looking at this pair? This is my major higher low formation, which I will be this is my maximum pullback point. And for immediate retests, we might have this little area here, pullback for a long position, or just a nice pullback here somewhere around this area. So I really want to see the pullback because price action is currently printing new all-time highs, and it's very interesting how this indice reacts here. So really no setup for now. I want to see a pullback here. Possibly you can include a fib level as well when it starts to find resistance, and then wait for the Fibonacci to get fulfilled and then start looking for buys. And having a look at US30. So we had an interesting setup here as well. This was a nice zone I kept watching, and you can see how perfectly price came back here to retest it because here it failed. Tries to push to the upside, but there were not enough orders to continue pushing up. So price pulled back all the way here at the major liquidity spot. You can see how what a big zone this is. Massive reactions. Came back, just tapped into the zone and reacted immediately. So what I will be looking for this pair, very similar to NAS100, a nice pullback here around 50% of this leg. Let's see when this starts to find resistance. So we may take an aggressive short position as a pullback, or just wait for this to pull back to a fib level, or just to make a higher low. So that's for this week, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the analysis, found it helpful, and I've got you prepared for next week. If you want to see how I analyze the market real time, make sure to join my group of highly motivated trading individuals where we work together. We have workshops, webinars, and they're really learning fast. So if you're still struggling to enter the market, to analyze the market, and all this stuff, make sure to get in touch with me and I'm gonna walk you through it. So If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell, and see you on my next video. Thank you for staying up until now.